G'day folks. What an emotional journey pulling this apart. Oh dear, it's really, it triggered me in a lot of different ways, because I did say I was going to sell it and I did have someone half interested in it. Pulling it apart and giving up racing for me it still is, it's a done deal. But selling it caused a lot of turmoil with me. I put an Instagram post up saying it was my emotional mind that wanted it gone, but my heart told me otherwise. It said keep the car. Why are you selling it? And I sort of wanted it out of my life when I was pulling it apart, and it was just, I was buffering against these emotions. And in the end, I ended up having to listen to my heart. My heart was saying, keep the car, Jason. Even if you don't do anything with it, just keep it. So I've pulled it down as far as I want to go with it for now. And I'm going to put it in storage in my garage and mothball it for now. So everything's pulled out that I wanted to pull out of it, and I can't part with it, guys. It means too much. I've had this thing for too long. It's a genuine HJ 308 4-speed 4-door. The chassis number aligns with the tags. It's a genuine mandarin red, so it's a desirable model for a 4-door, a sedan. So it's got all the fruit on the plates, and it's authentic in that sense. No, it's not original, but it's a genuine Munro. So they're not making them anymore, that's it. So I'm just going to hang on to it. I've got a desire to put it back on the road, and I've actually got a desire down the track, years down the track, on redoing it all. Keeping a little 308, normally aspirated, keeping the splitter on, the rear wing, wheels, everything. Maybe put a nice little digital dash in it with all them displays. Some nice little seats. I'm not going for original. I'd like to get it back to its original look on the outside. The black on the bonnet and on the nose cone and the side decals are a HX, so that's the model after this. So I'd like to get it back to an HJ spec, which is basically all mandarin with no black bonnet, and the decals are here and they're slightly different. So that's the plan down the track if I still have that passion for it, but I'm not selling it. I'm just going to mothball it for now and see what happens down the future. My attention now is to the ute, my brown HX utility. Now that I've got all the parts and everything I need to put it together, and we can just keep this one on ice. It's a ripper body, it really is. It's got a couple of little rust spots in it. I did notice it, and I've known it the whole time, but there's a couple on the radiator support panel. There's a couple of spots down below there. You probably can't see it, but there's a little spot in there. And like I've said a few times, these back guards have been lipped, and they did a terrible job sealing on the inside underneath. So moisture's come through from the inside on both sides, and it's bubbled the guard, or that lip there. But that's it. The boot, the floors, everything else is really solid. It's a really good example. So we'll see one day. We'll see. But it's a relief now to have it all stripped down. And if I do something to it, I've got a good bare bones, something to work with. I just cut the cage out with the reciprocal saw. That had some tension on it too. When I put it together, it wasn't tight at all, but yeah, once you weld it, it distorts it. I've got that out. That's where the turbo was. And the beautiful thing is, guys, I've got another body. I've got a HJ, and I can cut bits out of that, which is a rust bucket, but the bits I need are good. I can cut bits out of it and stitch this thing back up with the same parts. It's not too bad, just a few holes. A lot of little holes that I've drilled through, but we can put little plates in there and weld it up. Yeah. But it's a good example, as you can see, like, just no rust in it. I want to keep my rear arms set up in this because that just works incredibly well. Those top arms off the diff. So when you lower the car in standard form, the nose of the diff rolls down and you get a lot of vibration because the pinion angle changes. Whereas on this, I've lifted the arms up and lengthened them on the top arms so you can lower it right down and it doesn't affect the pinion angle, and you can adjust it. And you don't have any vibration whatsoever, and this thing really hooks up. It sort of lifts the car now. Now the top arms have been spread apart from the bottom control arm. It tends to lift the front of the car more rather than want to buck and break traction, create axle tramp. So I'll cover those with a nice little sort of low, I'll just box them in. One day, if I ever get back to it. I'm going to lose the sunroof. I've never really liked it. That was an 80s thing. If I ever sort of redo it, I'll lose that. But wouldn't it be cool to have this thing going again, back on the street? I reckon it'd be great. Not turboed, but just NA. With a nice little, well, I've got enough parts to build an engine with little, I think it's a 40 thou up flat top pistons. Standard stroke 308 engine. I've got the dash 1 heads, which are the Dave Bennett originals. Torque manifold. I mean, I've got a camshaft. If I couldn't make 350 horsepower out of it comfortably, there'd be something wrong with me. But that'd be a beautiful little setup. Yeah, so patch the holes, and one day I'd like to just strip it all down, and it could be a project once I get the ute sorted out and get this thing back on the road. I've got all the parts. The only bits I sold out of this was the dash, which I do regret selling the dash, and the dash pad, the seats and the carpet, and basically the interior, really. The roof lining was buggered, but I got rid of the door cards, the seats and the dash. But I reckon I can get another dash and fab up my own little digital control display in there and just keep it simple. Maybe get some nice little Recaro seats for it. I don't really like the original ones in them. They're not that comfortable. They don't offer much support. but just have it as a little road racer spec, just for the street. I'd love to put my auto back in it. I'm an auto man. I'm not a big man on gears. I've got a gearbox, so I've got everything basically to get this thing going again. So future plans, maybe, we'll see. But for now, I'm going to hang on to it. The next video I do, guys, I'll be concentrating on the ute. So I'm to that phase now where I'm going to move everything out of here in the next week and start preparing and getting the ute up on the jack stands. And I would love to show you how I'm going to mount that turbo up underneath. So we'll just get it sitting up there on some blocks, and I'll show you my drain system on it. And we'll have a talk about how I'm going to fab that up and what my plan is moving forward with the ute. So, exciting times. Exciting times. I'm so relieved now that she's not going anywhere, this beast. She's going to stick with me now. Too many good memories, and there's a few bad memories with it as well, but I'm definitely going to hang on to this. It's a beauty. All right, guys. Well, that's the little update for now. It's only a short one. I didn't want to prattle on too much about it. But I hope everyone's well, and I hope everyone's starting to take notice of what's really going on in this world. I notice a lot of people don't want to talk about it. I don't have pretty much any friends. No one wants to talk about the truth in my community. It's basically me and my wife. We just reside with ourselves. But it's going to come to a point where people are just going to have to start talking about it, because it's not going to go away. It's actually getting a little louder and louder, and it's getting... I've noticed the mainstream media, they're ramping up the fear talk. So people are going to have to start taking notice, or stay stuck in that old 3D false illusion built on lies. And that's what it is. It's built on lies. Because we are ascending as a planet, and those who want to join are ascending as well, which is basically lifting their consciousness, which is allowing truth and becoming more aware of what's really going on. That's what it's all about. Allowing information in to look at the truth head on. And it's not easy. It's not easy. All right, guys. I'll put one up soon. I'll catch you on the next one.